Hey everybody, Wyoming James checking in again from the Urban Micro Farm. Well, it's day 20. Okay, so day 20 marks a bit of a milestone for us. Day 20 means we're about 1/3 of the way done raising these birds. They tell you that they're usually ready to butcher around day 60. Now, we have high hopes. We really think that we're going to be able to butcher these birds at about day 54 to 58, but we don't know that yet. They're growing really well. They're doing really well. They're adapting okay to the feed, and these in the garden, at least, for a little bit yesterday afternoon, I've got some footage. I'll probably try to mix it in here, but I actually took them out of the dozer and let them just forage around the garden a little bit. I was a little concerned, but because there's only 5 of them, I thought, you know what, I can keep an eye on them. So I'll post a little bit of that, and they did well. I can't wait until they're just a little bit bigger, that when I'm out here weeding and composting and doing all the other stuff that goes in the garden, can't wait to just turn them out so that while I'm out here during the day, I can keep an eye out for the neighborhood cats and just kind of keep an eye on them. And my big concern right now is that they're so small that our fencing here isn't chicken proof. So I'm afraid that they'll slip through the little holes in the fence and get out in the street or into the neighbor's yard or whatever. So what I figured we'll do is we've fed these guys already and they've got plenty of water, so I think what we'll do is we'll hop in the pickup and we'll head out to the pasture and we'll cover some more stuff out there. Okay, so out here on the pasture, day 20. So it's cool. It's cool this morning. We get out here and we can actually see our breath in the air. So I think that has probably more to do with the moisture on the ground and just the ambient temperature than it does with how cold it actually is. Because it's not that brisk out here, but it's cooler. Probably the coolest morning we've had. The sun is coming up, so it's going to break through this little haze, and we should get a pretty warm day today. So all the birds are doing great. They're all doing super well. They're hungry. They all want fed, but we had to take a quick stop here and do a video real quick. So a little bit about these birds. First of all, they're for meat production only. That's one of the things that I get asked a lot when I talk to people and they say, James, what are you doing? I say, well, I'm farming chickens. First thing I do is laugh, and I don't know why, but they laugh. And then they go, oh, really? So you have lots of eggs? And I say, no, I don't have any eggs. I just have chickens. You know, how is that possible? Well, it is, because these birds are only for meat production. We'll butcher them before they reach sexual maturity, so they won't start laying. We never wanted any eggs. I mean, I love eggs, but we never wanted any eggs. We didn't want egg production. So the idea here was just to raise these birds for meat production, and that's it. So that's what we got going there. Real quick, I want to tell you a little bit about the chicken tractors that we've built. We built these from the ground up, and we tried to do it by using the least amount of materials that we could. The main reason there was economic. We wanted to keep these chicken tractors cheap so that we could pass along the costs to the consumers. They're basically made out of 2x6s, 2x4s, chicken wire, hardware cloth, and then as an added bonus, we put the 3/4 inch EMT conduit over the top for the bows. That's what holds our tarp up. So, and then the tarp finishes them off. So what they are basically is they're a 2x6 base. So the 2x6 base is 10 feet long, 6 feet wide, and then we build off of that. There's 3-foot tall risers that come off of those that hold this bar here on, and then everything else is 2x4s, and then we cover the entire thing with chicken wire. And then our concern was that with this chicken wire, if these birds were up close next to that, a raccoon could conceivably stick its hand in there, grab one of those chickens, and pull chicken bits out. So what we did is the bottom 2 feet of this we covered with this hardware cloth too. So those raccoons aren't able to stick their paw through here and grab one of our unsuspecting little birds. So, and then we took basic designs that we had seen on the internet, and we kind of adapted them for what we wanted to do. We knew the basic size that we wanted, because that much square footage, that 10 by 6, 60 square foot, will house 30 birds. Maximum capacity is 30 birds. The only one of these that we have 30 birds in is the far right one here. We don't have 30 birds in there anymore?
Far left one.
Okay, I'm confused. Okay, this one we have 30 birds in, and we only have 29 and 28, I think, respectively. So 30 birds is the maximum capacity. Each bird has to have, how many? 2 square feet, thank you. Each bird has to have 2 square feet, and so that's full capacity. So the idea there is 2 square feet per bird per day. And as you can see, they have plenty of room to roam around here. And even as they get bigger, they'll have plenty of room. The idea is we set it on a piece of ground for 24 hours. They peck around, they scratch around, they forage around, and they pick up nutrients out of the soil, out of the plants that are here, and then the protein from the bugs.
And the grit.
And then the grit. They got to have that grit for their... Now, here's something. How about this? If anybody knows if the proper term is craw or crop, put it in the comments below. I know you're going to go do a Google search, but that's what we did. And you get both. Mandy contends that it's called a crop. Okay? I think it's called a craw. Okay? Because growing up, my old man would say, well, you know what really gets stuck in my craw? And granted, my dad didn't have a craw, but it's got stuck stuff. A lot of stuff got stuck in his craw, mostly politics. But anyway, so is it craw or is it crop? Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Spelled crop, pronounced craw.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's a French word again, like root and route. So is it craw or crop? Put it in the comments. Let me know. If I'm wrong, I'll tell the world that I'm wrong. I don't have a problem with that, and I usually am wrong when it comes to Mandy. So anyway, and also they can forage around for grit to go inside their thing that grinds up their food. And then every single day we move these things forward another 10 feet. So every day they're on fresh pasture. So it's kind of like turning them out to free range, but we're controlling the speed at which they forage. So that's the whole idea behind the chicken dozers. So Mandy has to do this. Mandy's the accountant. She's going to have to tell us exactly how much we have in each chicken dozer. What was the total cost of the chicken dozer?
We're averaging about $260.
Okay, so about $260 builds a chicken dozer from scratch to built like you see it here, with the tarp, with the bows, with the chicken wire, with the hardware cloth, with the feeders, and with the buckets, all hung, ready to rock and roll in the field. So $260 per tractor. Not a huge investment. So any of you people who are maybe just wanting to do one of these, all you got to do is figure out your square footage. If you want, let's say you want 30 birds in there. If you have a 10 by 20 chicken tractor, you just got to figure you've got to have that much square footage for how many ever days you want, because you're moving it once a day. So if you guys are living on a couple of acres or 5 acres or 10 acres, that's plenty of ground to do a chicken tractor on. So don't be afraid to try it out. For those of you folks who are wanting to go more small scale, like we've done in our garden, that is a 2 by 8. That's a 16 square foot chicken dozer is what we decided to call that. And we move it around every single day, and it's only taking up 16 square foot, but it only now has 5 birds in it. So you could go, what, 8 birds in there? You could go 8 birds in that thing. So hold on, full disclosure, I'm getting the head shake over here. You couldn't do 8 birds in the city of Casper, but if you were rural, you could do 8 birds in 16 square feet in our little chicken dozer, and they'd have plenty of room. So, like I said, we move this thing every single day, and once it's moved, we put new feed down. They forage around, and they're just happy. They're happy. They're growing. More feathers every single day, and they're rocking and rolling. I'm so happy with how this little process has gone. And we're pleased with the outcome up to this point. So we're here a third of the way through, and we couldn't be more blessed. Okay, so chicken tractors moved, birds fed. We are rocking and rolling. A real quick update on the C.S.A. First of all, I've answered quite a few questions in the last couple of days about the C.S.A. So basically, that community supported agriculture. What you're doing is you're buying these birds ahead of time. You're becoming a part owner in these birds that you'll ultimately have in your freezer a couple of months from now, or a month and a half from now. So basically what you're doing is you're coming out and you're saying, hey Mandy, hey James, what we'd like to do is we'd like to buy our birds, but we want to pay for them now. We want to pay for them up front. But what we want to do is we want to take delivery of those birds later on. Maybe in October, maybe November, maybe January. Doesn't matter to us. We'll keep those birds, we'll store them until you need them. So you don't want to be overloaded with birds. A lot of folks only have the small freezer above the refrigerator. They don't want that just full of birds. So we'll give those to you whenever you want. So the C.S.A. is a wonderful way for us to offset the cost of doing this, especially knowing that we have those birds sold ahead of time. And then secondly, it helps out the consumer because they're getting good quality protein where they know. And especially with this video, you know exactly what these birds are going through day by day. At no point have you ever seen us doctoring them or medicating them or anything like that. So they're living how they were meant to live, and that's foraging around free range and not getting pumped full of a bunch of hormones and antibiotics. So we also picked up 2 new C.S.A. members. We picked up Robert and Mickey Gonzalez over in Riverton. Thank you guys so much for that. And then we also picked up our young friend Nicholas and his family. It's Mike, it's Jody, it's Nicholas, and Matthew. Guys, thank you all so much. We appreciate that, and I can't wait to get Nicholas out here and his family so that they can see the place. I'm getting a motion from Mandy.
That puts us now over 50%.
That's correct. So we're just, thank you. She told me to say that before she even pushed the record button. She said, oh yeah, and mention that we're over 50% sold out right now. So we are. We're just over 50%, but we've still got birds left. I would love nothing more than to have all these birds spoken for before they're ready to go. For 2 reasons. 1, that would mean that this was a booming success. And 2, that would mean that I don't have to go sit at a farmer's market and try to sell these unsold birds. So if you guys want to keep me from parking my carcass at a farmer's market and playing bird salesman, then just jump in here, tell us how many birds you want, contact me, a private message or whatever. Just tell us how many birds you want, and we'll get them going that way. So Wyoming James, hold on. What do you got?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. She was waving to me. I don't
saying
know.
bye-bye.
Here's the thing. We've got to really work on our communication, our nonverbal communication, because I'm like, what are you saying? So, Wyoming James, Powder River Mandarin, checking out from the Urban Micro Farm. Adios.